Hey guys, what's up? It's Chelsea. Welcome back. Today is another, I want to say, yeah, it's pretty much a story time video. It's a little more on the personal side. It's something that maybe you guys don't know about me, which maybe you do. I don't know. Unless you're my friends watching or my family watching this video. Usually my viewers don't know this, but I deal with rheumatoid arthritis. And this is a story about basically like how I was diagnosed, what could have possibly led up to it. And this is definitely a little more on the personal side. I deal with this on a daily basis, and trust me, it is not fun. I would not wish this on anybody. It sucks. Anyway, let's get into it. So let's take it back to when I was maybe about 5 years old. From what I remember and from what my parents have told me as I was growing up, I remember correctly, my mom was mopping the kitchen floor, washing the kitchen floor and mopping it up. Keep in mind, as a 5-year-old, you don't really think before you do things. I ran into the kitchen, if I remember correctly. I ran into the kitchen, but I didn't know the floor was still wet. So next thing you know, I slip and then bang my knee on the kitchen floor. Which, honestly, saying that is how I could have fractured my knee. It's such a stupid way to fracture your knee. Like, it sounds really dumb. But I guess as a 5-year-old, your bones and your body is still developing, I guess. So maybe my bones weren't super strong at the time, but I guess it was also the impact of the fall. But honestly, it just seemed like a fall that will be like, okay, not a big deal. Days went by, and my parents noticed something was off. Like, I was limping on my knee. I was favoring it, like walking with like a little limp, like limping. Like favoring it, and I was trying to show I wasn't in pain by, I was trying to be like a regular 5-year-old. My parents knew something wasn't right. They're like, our daughter should not be walking like this. So we went to the doctor. I got an x-ray. And they said I was good. And then we just kept going. It got to a point where we kept going to a bunch of different doctors, because every doctor we went to said I was fine pretty much. But my parents did not give up. Thank God for my parents for not giving up and not just being like, okay, yeah, she's good. They were smart enough to be like, there's something wrong with our daughter. We're gonna figure this out. So I am thankful they were able to figure out. From what my parents have told me, 3 months went by, and 3 months later, I found out I fractured my left knee. I guess what could have happened was maybe the fracture was just so small and like barely noticeable in the x-ray. That's probably why it looked like I was fine, but it really wasn't. It was like a hairline fracture. But as time went by, and as I kept walking and jumping around being an energetic 5-year-old, it got worse over time. My parents were like, yeah, no, there's something wrong with our daughter. So, in other words, it took 3 months of going to doctors, getting x-rays done, going to these appointments to find out, like, yep, she fractured her knee. So basically, I would walk around, jump around, run around while having a fractured knee. And you may be thinking to yourself, like, that sounds really painful. Which, honestly, I don't remember how painful it was, because I was so young. But thinking about it, I think it was very painful. And like I said, it probably was a very minor hairline fracture. But since it was so minor, it probably didn't show on the x-ray. And I've gotten a few of those done. So it probably didn't show up on the x-ray. And then there's that. So they put me in the cast, like a little leg cast. I think it's for about 6 weeks. Usually, if you have a fracture, it's about 6 weeks you're in the cast. And, yeah. I remember when I was younger, I had my friend sign it with like a Sharpie. So that was an interesting time. Probably being a 5-year-old and not be able to do much for 6 weeks, but having your leg in the cast. So then obviously after those couple weeks, my knee did heal. And then this is where it escalated further. So I want to say about 2 years went by, Yeah, I was 5 when I fractured my knee, I believe. I think I was around 5 years old, maybe. And like I said, I obviously don't remember everything. This is just also from what my parents have told me. And like I said, thank y'all. I'm thanking God for the parents I was given. I am blessed to have both of them in my life. I'm thankful they did not give up on me. Well, that's the wrong way to say it. I'm glad they just didn't give up and be like, okay, yeah, she's fine. They just kept trying and fighting. So I love my mom and dad so much. I am grateful for the both of them. You know, they were doing their job as parents to make sure I was okay. Anyway, so about 2 years went by after I got my cast off, and yeah, after my knee healed. But then another problem started. So my mom noticed I was limping again. I think if I remember correctly, and my left knee, was swelling up. So my mom's like, this isn't normal. Like, this should not be happening. So we went to another doctor. And next thing you know, they did all these different tests. They did more x-rays. They did all these different tests and stuff to see what the heck was going on with me. Because there's no way my knee should be swollen up. And then, after all that stuff was done, we discovered that I developed rheumatoid arthritis in my left knee. Now, thinking about it now, I think here's the thing, I was probably always gonna have it I wasn't supposed to get it till I was like 50. I wasn't supposed to get it till I was at least 50 something or older. But what I'm thinking is, and I think this is what the doctors think as well, they think since I fractured my knee at such a young age, they said that's probably why it started super early in my life. I'm 24 now. I've been dealing with this pretty much since I was 7. And let me tell you, it's horrible. I would honestly not wish this on anybody. I really wouldn't. Anyway, so I was put on medication for it. Yes, like there are times like the medication does help. However, how do I put this? There's just so much in this story. Another thing too is like, you know, one of the things that causes the pain in rheumatoid arthritis especially is the swelling. Like when you have it in a certain joint, in this case I have it in my left knee. That's where I first got it. The knee would swell up and it would just get super, super painful. So, yeah, not fun, especially as a young kid who's trying to live their life as a normal kid. So I would, like, you know, be on medication. I would have to see a rheumatologist on a regular basis. We'll get more into that shortly. I used to have to travel maybe like an hour or so away for these appointments. Thankfully, now I have a rheumatologist that's way closer to me, so we don't have to drive like an hour away. But you know, gotta do what you gotta do. So start off in the left knee, and then we got that a little bit under control. But then there was also a problem with the right ankle. Somehow this rheumatoid arthritis just spread. It started from the left knee. That was my main spot. And then it spread to the right ankle. And apparently the right wrist. But thankfully I don't really have a problem with my wrist at all. Never had a problem with my wrist. No pain. Nothing. It's usually just my knee or my ankle. As I've gotten older, it's been more of my ankle than anything. But yeah, no, there are days I would be in so much pain, which I'll get into that a little later. And I've been taking, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the medication Enbrel. It's a shot. No, it's not like, no, when I say shot, you don't just like take a shot like medicine, like you do with like, say, like, you know, you don't take a shot of it like, say, like cold medicine or whatever the case may be. This is an actual injection I gotta take every single week. I've been taking this since I was in, I want to say junior high, if I remember correctly. Now here's the thing, I didn't want to do this. My mom's like, no, you're gonna do it. If it's gonna help you, we're doing it. Because here's the thing, I hate needles. I hate them so much. I hated them ever since I was a kid. I would freak out so bad. Then again, I'm pretty sure all kids were like that at one point. I'm pretty sure. I mean, granted, some people may handle it better than others. Who knows? But I would have to I take this shot every single week. And basically it's supposed to, like, like you inject it and it goes to the joint. It's supposed to prevent it from swelling. It's supposed to maintain it. It doesn't get rid of the pain completely, but it definitely, helps it. And, yeah, I'll tell you some stories not after, about what it's like dealing with that kind of pain. Because it can get super, super painful. So, there are a couple instances where I used to be in so much pain. Like, when I first started working at my job, keep in mind, I work at a fast food place at the moment, and I have to be on my feet constantly, which I usually try to push through, power through. My knee is not really an issue at the job that I'm at. My ankle is usually the one that gets the problems. And when I first started, I think I was walking to work and I woke up and, like, my ankle wasn't so much pain. I wasn't so much pain. I walked to work, which thankfully I don't live far. I walked to work, sat down because I got there a little early. I think my boss saw that something seemed a little off. She's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then I just remember crying because I was in so much pain. And then that's what I said. My ankle's hurting. I have rheumatoid arthritis in my right ankle and my left knee. Again, they say I have it in the wrist, but I don't know if I do. Anyway, because I don't have any issues with my wrist. And then I remember I got sent home that day because I was just in so much pain. I'm so grateful that my job has been so understanding about it. I mean, like, excuse me, when there were days I would work and yes, there are days I was able to push through. Like, I would just fight through the pain. But you can only do but so much. You shouldn't just over push yourself. Yes, I needed the money, of course. We all need the money when we're working. We have bills to pay, people. But at the same time, it's like, there are times, like, I couldn't do it. Like, I would just sit there, literally grabbing my ankle, trying to massage it, trying to move it. However, I will say this. There are days, yes, I was able to push through. I would be able to make it through my whole shift. But when I did make it through my whole shift, it's like, I would just be in so much pain when I got home. I would just shower, I would just shower, get in my pajamas, and then just lay in my bed and almost want to cry. That's how painful it can get. And then the days that I wasn't able to push through because of how much pain I was in, I would also do the same thing. I would just lay there trying to move it, and it's a struggle. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but for me it was a struggle. Because, like, there were days I was barely able to move my ankle, especially. That's when my dad suggested, like, these little compression sock things for my ankle, which, thankfully, they're working. I'm able to make it through my shift. Yes, here's the thing. With rheumatoid arthritis, the pain doesn't go away completely, but with the compression sleeves, which you got on Amazon, and for the compression sleeves, it's supposed to, compress the ankle to prevent swelling from happening, because that's what causes most of the pain in rheumatoid arthritis, is the swelling. And, yeah. So I'm thankful for my dad for thinking of this idea, because I'm able to make it through my day without being in excruciating pain. Another thing that can cause a flare-up in your joints is very, very cold weather. Like in the fall. Well, the fall's not too bad for me. It's the winter that can be a struggle. Like, sometimes I can wake up with, like, my knee being stiff because of how cold it is and all that. I don't know. I think it's just a normal thing. Like, when it's cold, like, your joints can get a little stiff. Sometimes painful, at least in my case. But yeah. Yeah, I've been doing Umbrel for quite a bit, and there are also times I've done, like, a direct joint injection, which I'll get into that in a sec. And just a heads up, what I'm about to tell you, if you want to skip over this part, I'm not going to show anything because I don't have any like pictures of it being done. Thank God, because I don't think that was not my focus at the time. I will go into detail about it, but if you're not comfortable hearing about needles and medical procedures, skip over this part. That's totally okay. I won't be mad. Trust me. Okay, so a couple times I've had this procedure done. It's not even an actual procedure. It's not like okay, the way I can explain it, a couple times when I was put on this medication, Embrel, there were times like it can only help it so much, but then the one day, a couple times I was at my rheumatologist's appointment, they looked at it, at my knee and my ankle, because those are the things that can cause the most pain for me, and they said that my knee was swelling up, like it got really bad at one point, my knee and my ankle, and so they are like, we got to do the direct, I don't remember if that's the exact term they used, because I was scared more than anything, even though I've had this done before. It's just like, it's just in your mind, it's like, with something like that, it gets a little scary, at least in my case. So basically, and summed up in their words, we got to do a direct joint injection. So we scheduled another appointment, and I went with my dad, because I think my mom was working that day. And what happened was, what they do is, they don't have to numb you, technically. They don't numb you. Unless you want it. I'm like, numb me up. Numb me. Because, like, I want to feel at least amount as possible. Because I was freaking out enough as it is. I would have been freaking out more. But thankfully, my dad was able to keep me calm. So, love you, Dad. But, yeah, so what they did was, the doctor came in. I had to fill out this form. Because it was kind of like a procedure. But it's not like a major surgery. It wasn't really a surgery. It was just like a small medical procedure they had to do. I had to fill out a form, sign my name, and then they put like this numbing stuff, like this numbing, I think it was a gel on my knee and my ankle, which kicked in, was supposed to kick in about like at least a half hour is going to kick in, they said. So after they put the stuff on, that gave my doctor enough time to go see another patient while my dad and I just sat in the doctor's office, just talking about random stuff, him trying to keep me relaxed. And so the doctor came back in maybe about a half hour later. They cleaned the area. They cleaned it. Now, this is going to sound gross, and I am so sorry. I was told what they were doing. I had to lay down so they can get it done. What they did, one of the things that also what causes the swelling is like there's fluid buildup in your joints. I hope I'm making sense. Like, fluid causes swelling in rheumatoid arthritis cases. So what they had to do, they stuck a needle in me. They had to extract that fluid out of both my knee and my ankle. And keep in mind, I was freaking out a little bit because it was just so much to process. It's just the thought of it was freaking me out a little bit. My dad, I remember my doctor's like this to my dad. He's like, do you want me to he's like, stand next to your daughter just in case. He's like, would you like me to get you a chair? He's like, I don't know how you are with this stuff. He basically asked my dad if he gets like little, like, if he ever gets like, like the queasy, sick feeling of seeing stuff like that. My dad was like, oh no, I'm good. I can stand. That's fine. My dad's a good guy. He's a strong individual. Anyway, so he's standing there. I'm literally squeezing his hand so hard. And what they did was after they numbed me, they cleaned it. I already said that. I had my headphones in, so I can just tune everything now. I was listening to music, because that helped me out a little bit. Music, I like music. Anyway, so what they did was, they cleaned it, they stuck a needle in me, they extracted that fluid out. And keep in mind, when I take my Embrel, I do it somewhere where I take the shot where there's a lot of muscle. But with this, they have to do it directly in the joint. In this case, in my left knee and the right ankle. They didn't really stuck that needle directly in my joint to extract that fluid. I remember I was in tears. I was in tears, which is, I guess, you're scared. You don't know what's going to happen. You just got to hope for the best. So I was freaking out, and I still felt it. But my dad was so supportive, and I'm squeezing his hand so tight. I'm surprised I didn't squeeze it to the point where it started hurting him, but thank God. So they extracted the fluid out of my knee and my ankle first, and then they literally inject like some kind of I guess it's kind of like a steroid, I guess, if that makes sense. They injected me with that, so that way it keeps the swelling from, coming back anytime soon. Again, this all just sounds so gross, and I am terribly sorry about that. But, it's not a fun thing to deal with. It's just reality. It's just reality in my case. Again, I've had this done a few times. I don't remember how often I had them done. I wouldn't say it was often. That's a bad term. But the couple times I've had it done, I hated it. I hated it so much. But if it's helping, it's helping. But, yeah, they basically extracted fluid, injected me with another medication, and then we were done. And then my dad and I went out to eat as a reward, just to make me feel happy, and because we were hungry. So, there's that. And then I remember I didn't know how it was going to be. Basically, after you get this done, you can do small, like, household chores and stuff. Like, cleaning the house, whatever. But since I'm at a job that I'm on my feet for long periods of time, I had to take off of work for a few days. So I remember calling my boss and being like, hey, I need to take off. I can be back this day, but I couldn't come to work the next day or a couple days after that, or else this whole thing wasn't going to work. And here's the thing. I don't mind going to work. I figure the way I think of it is that you're doing something productive and you're getting paid while doing it. I try to be optimistic about it, and I was so upset. I'm like, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I cannot come to work for the next few days. And then I told her why, is that I just got literally injected with some kind of steroid in my knee and my ankle, and I couldn't really be on it. Again, thankfully they were super understanding, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem, just rest up, we'll see you this day. So yeah, after a few days, I was able to go back to work, and it helped. Even though it really sucks. This whole procedure was not fun. If you guys have had this done, let me know. So, you're probably thinking like, Chels, why are you telling us this story? What I'm trying to tell you is that nobody's life is perfect. I try to be as real with you guys as I can, without exposing every little bit of my life. I try to be super real with you guys, but also fun at the same time. As you can tell, I'm trying to be very optimistic about, my experience. I wanted to show you guys that, how do I put this? I want to basically kind of spread awareness, and I want to tell you guys my story. Ooh, excuse me. That was like a hiccup / burp. Anyway, I wanted to tell you guys my story, and then I wanted to, kind of bring awareness about it, because I feel like a lot of people don't deal with rheumatoid arthritis, at least in my case. Usually it's for like the older people. But in this case, I've been dealing with this since I was 7. And I want to show you guys that if you guys are dealing with that at a young age, you're not alone. Because I deal with it on a daily basis, and I'm going to deal with it for the rest of my life. But here's the thing. And this is how I feel about a lot of things. You may think you have it bad. And this is something my parents have taught me as well. You may think you have it rough in life, but there is someone out there that has it way worse than you do. Like, how do I put this in a way that makes sense? Like, you think you have it bad, but someone out there can have it way worse than you do, and they are, basically what I'm trying to say is live every day in your life to the fullest. Because you never know. Like, you can be happy. Like, be thankful that you're happy, you're healthy, you live in a good home, you have good people, you're surrounded by good people. Be thankful. Because someone out there can have way worse than you do. Some people aren't that lucky, unfortunately. I'm very lucky, but I'm still able to live my life. I'm very lucky that I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I have good people surrounding me to support me in whatever I do or whatever I'm going through. I'm grateful for that. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that until something really bad happens. But I'm thankful for that every single day. Yes, some days are rough, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So yeah, I know this was a little more of the serious side of things, but I wanted to, tell my story. Show that you're not alone if you're going through this or any kind of medical thing. You're not alone. You can, be dealing with something super mild and you think you have it bad, but you really don't. There's people out there that can deal with way worse things. Live every day of your life to the fullest. Don't let anything stop you, is what I'm trying to say. Also, I know I'm kind of rambling because this was a lot to, express in one story. But yep, that's just some of the stuff I've dealt with and I'm still dealing with. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I have, people to motivate me. I have things in life that motivate me, keep me going, no matter how hard the day gets. And I'm grateful for my friends and my family for being such a great support system. Here's the thing. Something like this, yes, they are going to find out eventually that I deal with rheumatoid arthritis. I knew they were going to find out eventually, especially my job. But I'm grateful they were so understanding and, they understood what I deal with. Because, as a young adult now, like I said, I'm 24, it's a lot to deal with. So just know you're not alone. You always have someone there that will listen. And you always make sure you have a support system. Talk to anybody if you need to. That's what I do. It may not be right away, but I still talk to people when I need to. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. And like I said, like I usually say, if you like the story or if you can relate to it, give this video a thumbs up. If you guys want to express your story, if you guys deal with something like this or something more, I would love to hear about this. Like I said, you're not alone. It could be me that can be dealing with this as well, or it could be someone else. If you want to express yourself in the comments, let me know. I would love to hear you guys' stories. If you don't want to express yourself or if you're not comfortable, that's totally okay as well. Regardless, I hope I was able to bring some sort of awareness and, tell my story. And I think that's it. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And, what was I going to say? I just had a massive brain fart. Oh yeah, just be thankful. Be happy, be healthy, stay safe. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.